Hi everybody, here is Christian. This is Pico-8 Hero, and today I'm very excited. I'm excited because of multiple things. I've been jogging. I have a delicious tea. I bought some new tea. It's very strong tea. Love it. And of course, today we are going to finally do the juiciness. Juiciness. I already talked about juiciness a little bit when we are talking about how to control the paddle. Juiciness is a term. There's sometimes different words for this. Sometimes people don't call it juiciness. Sometimes people call it game feel or polish in context with game feel. Sometimes they call it affectance. There's different ways to call this. But juiciness, I think there's a really great quote by Kyle Gabler from 2D Boy. Kyle Gabler, 2D Boy. Juiciness. He coined the term juiciness. I will find that quote, but basically what he said is juiciness is when the game feels alive, when it kind of squirms. Wait a minute. Juice was our wet little term for constant and bountiful user feedback. A juicy game element will bounce and wiggle and squirt and make a little noise when you touch it. A juicy game feels alive. A juicy game feels alive and responds to everything you do. Tons of cascading action and response from minimal user input. It makes the player feel powerful and in control of the world, and it coaches them through the rules of the game by constantly letting them know on a per interaction basis how they are doing. And I feel like this idea that it feels alive and that very minimum input gives you a lot of output feedback from the game. That's kind of like something that's I think important for this idea of juiciness, that the game is actually really proactive at really reaching out to the player and letting them know that things are happening and things are awesome. And so this is what juiciness is, like the game feeling alive. And I think there is a parallel you can draw between the term juiciness and between like animation principles, like the principles of animation by Disney, you know, like evoking the idea of life, of bringing things on the screen to life. And in the same way, we're trying to bringing things on the screen of the computer game to we're trying to make them alive by making them react to things. And you know, in some way, being a good game designer, kind of like the pursuit of being a game designer is the lifelong pursuit for finding different ways of games to be juicy. Juiciness is not something that you always kind of want to have, or juiciness sometimes comes in different forms. For example, in a horror game, juiciness might work different than it would maybe in a arcade game like here. Or maybe you will have like a text adventure, and then juiciness still looks a little bit different. But it's something that we want to develop, that we want to get into. We want to develop our understanding of juiciness. We want to learn how juiciness works. And we want to learn how to apply it in our games. We want to explore the term juiciness. And also, maybe each one of you out there has their own taste for juiciness. There's different types of juices. And maybe you like tomato juice. That's fine. Explore your tomato juice. But be aware that something like this might exist, and try to analyze it, try to understand. If you see something in a game and you feel like, wow, that's pretty cool, try to find out what elements lead to this thing being cool. So today we're gonna do the very fundamental juiciness 101, the very fundamental thing, Screenshake. Screenshake is so fundamental to juiciness and so fundamental to independent game design that there are sometimes festivals called Screenshake festivals, independent game festivals called Screenshake festivals. So called Screenshake. There we go. So the idea is that if something explosive or big happens in the game, like for example we have bombs in our game, we have things that explode, then you want the screen to shake because, you know, the explosion rattles the entire game and the screen shakes. So we want things to wiggle around on the screen. The entire game should wiggle around. But of course, this is a problem, because I think about it, you know, we're drawing so many things on the screen. We're drawing the pedal, we're drawing the bricks, we're drawing the balls, we're drawing the text and everything. And all of these things have to move now. So it's like, ooh, that's a nightmare if you think about this. Ooh, how are we going to make this? You know, because, you know, we have to move each one of those things independently from each other, right? Or you have to like move them together, I guess. Like you have to move all of these different elements, move them together. So I guess every time we draw something, we would need to add a variable to its position, and we can with this variable we can control like a global position. You can do this, and I did Screenshake in the past like this. But there's a really nice function that I pulled up here because I brought a really nice function like this, which I will use instead. And that function is camera. It's a camera function. That is something that that Pico gives us. It's just camera. Now there is no camera. This is not Unity. There is no like 3D camera or something that we can rotate in Pico. But what camera means basically is like you move the entire screen. Like everything that you draw on the screen will be offset by whatever you put into camera. So if you could put 1, 1, everything will be offset by 1 pixel to the right and to the bottom, I think. So this is what camera does. Easy peasy for breezy, and exactly what we're looking for. After this introduction, I'm really excited about the juiciness part, because we're gonna go very deep into juiciness. We're gonna explore this topic, and you can stay and work on juiciness of a game for a very long time. Okay, we're gonna create a new variable called shake. This variable just says how much the screen is shaking. And it starts with 0. We're saying the screen is not shaking, but it will. Now I will go all the way to the bottom of our function, all the way to the button. Here's the button. And now I will create an extra section for juicy stuff. And all new functions that are juiciness related are going to go in here. Okay? So we're going to create a new function called doShake. And all this function does is to shake the screen. It will be called whenever we draw the screen and whenever we want the shaking to happen. And we're just going to call it. So what does doShake do? Let me look this up, because I already once programmed this. I actually posted it on Lexaloffle forums, and I thought it was pretty good, and I liked it. So yeah, I decided that actually I want to doShake. Okay. Okay. Yes, I understand. Good. Okay. So in a doShake function, we have to decide how much we're going to move the screen. The way we're going to shake the screen is every frame we're going to move the screen by a random value in one direction. Just offset it in a random value. And if you play it very fast, the screen will move around. That's how shaking works, basically. So we need to basically have 2 variables that decide how much this screen has moved in this frame. So we're going to go like local shakex. Okay, so I will start with like whatever, 16. So we're going to generate a number between minus 16 to plus 16. A number between minus 16 and plus 16. And we already did random number generation. So I'm going to go through this real quick. It's going to be like this. Okay, so it might be actually 15. Oh, never mind. So it's a random number between 0 and 32, but never 32 technically. And then we're gonna subtract this. We're gonna subtract from 16 this random number, and that gives us a number between minus 32, minus 16 and 60, plus 16. It's kind of like, it could be 8, it could be 32. I just picked 16 as a kind of like a nice number compared to the size of the screen. Don't worry about it too much. You can still change it later on if you don't like 16, if you want the shaking to be less or more intense. We're going to control the shaking in different ways. I will also have the same variable for Y and X, so because we're moving the screen in 2 different dimensions. Right. So remember how all the way up here we had a function, we have a new variable called shake. Oh God, it takes such a long time to go up here. But I just wanted to remind you that we create a new variable called shake. And this variable says how much we're shaking. Okay? Okay. Just saying. Okay. Because now what we're going to do is going to go shake x equals shake x times shake. And now it makes sense, because if shake is 0, then there's not going to be any shaking. All the random number generation was for nothing, because it will just reset to 0 because you multiplied it by 0. If shake is 1, it shakes, you know, 16 pixels, maximum 16 pixels. And if shake is 0.5, it shakes, the screen shakes by 8 pixels in maximum. It's basically the shake kind of like dampens or strengthens, because shake can be also 2, and if shake is 2, then you know, it will go up to 32 pixels away. The screen will move very, very erratically. Okay, so both shake x and shake y, those random numbers that we generated, we multiply them with the shake strength, with the current shake strength. And now what we're going to do is what I already said: camera shake x, shake x, shake y. Easy peasy Fabrizi. This is all we need for the shaking to happen. We need to just call this once per frame and everything will work. There's one thing I want to change, want to add, and that's it. When the shaking happens, I want the shaking to eventually subside. You know, I want it to be strong at the beginning and then like get weaker and weaker. So what I want to do is, for the shake variable, the variable that defines the strength of the current shaking, I want this to always be reduced, to always go towards 0. So if it's shaking a little bit, it will always go back to 0. So downward somewhere in the program, when something explodes, for example, I can set it to like 2. And it will shake very violently, but then it will also it will subside by its own. And we do this by going like shake equals shake times, I put 0.95. So, you know, every frame shake will get a little bit weaker, a little bit weaker, a little bit weaker. And to make sure that it actually snaps to 0, so it's never like 0.1 and the screen's still like shaking a little bit, I will also add like a test for if shake, and this is something you have to test out. I tested it with those values, so that's why I'm typing it stuff. It's not a very difficult function. I could have programmed it myself, programmed it from memory, I mean. But getting at those numbers requires some testing, and I thought I will go immediately with the numbers I already had there in my sample program. So we're going to get the nice, beautiful results. So if the shake is smaller than 0.05, then we're going to reset it to 0, which means there's not going to be any shake. Okay, so that's it. That's all we need. This is the first juiciness part. This is juiciness. This is the sweet juiciness. So all we need to do now is we need to put the do shake somewhere in our draw. And I think shake is something so fundamental we should always shake. If I die, I want the menu afterwards to still shake. And keep in mind that I put it all the way up top, all the way up here. Right? I put it all the way on the top. Why? Well, because if you move the camera, so the way this works is, after you set the camera, everything afterwards will get drawn offset, but everything that was drawn before you move the camera, it stays where it was. It's a bit confusing. So basically, you have to move the camera, you have to set the camera before you draw things on the screen, I think. So that's why it goes all the way up top in the draw function. All right, so now we just need to test it. I'm thinking just for shits, and I should keep this family friendly just for fun. I'm gonna put it on update game. There we go. When it hits the pad, when the ball hits the pad, I think it's kind of fun. There we go. Check if ball hit pad. So the way we do this is we're gonna go shake equals 1. This is every time we want the screen to shake, we just set the variable shake to 1. Or actually, we can actually add 1 to it. So because if it's already shaking, you want to shake it more. So maybe if there's like two explosions at the same time, want the explosion to be double, twice as violent. Okay, so let's try this. Isn't this the best? Of course, our sound effects are not quite in sync with what's happening, but you see the screen's already shaking beautifully. And you see this was maybe too violent. Maybe we want more subtle shake. That's fine. We can do more subtle shake. So let's do it like 1/10 of the strength of that shake. And you see, it's kind of like it's very subtle, but it's actually nice. So, okay, so we had this one. So what I want to do now is, for example, this shake is not supposed to be something that you do when you hit the pedal. I don't think that fits the bill. But I think if the ball leaves the screen and you lose a ball, I think this is good. So if you lose the ball, I want like a 0.5 shake or 0.4 shake. And if it's a multi-ball and you lose a ball, oops, then maybe a 0.2 shake. Okay, so let's try this. I'm gonna lose the ball on purpose. See? That also fit kind of like our sound effect. So let's try the multi-ball now. Oh, I didn't pick up the multi-ball, but oh, this is so good. It's catch. Okay, let's try it again. Maybe we can get the multi-ball going, because I want to see the small shake. I want to see us losing a small ball. That's not the updates we're looking for. We're looking for the red one. The red one will give us the multi-ball. Maybe I should reset the... Ah, there's the red one. Okay, so I will lose one. Oh, that was good. That was a good shake. Maybe a bit too much shake. Maybe it's going to be 1.5. I'm trying to tease out the right amount. Run. Of course, you can be like, I want to shade the screen shake to everywhere, but if you overdo this effect, it will lose its effectiveness. It will just be like very chaotic. So you wanna use the effect, when really something interesting happens. It's kind of like controller vibration. That's kind of like a very similar effect where suddenly something interesting happens, and you also wanted to use this in a kind of like a very meaningful way. If you the controller always shakes, nobody cares about that. Didn't give me a multi-ball. This is going to be now you watching me play this game. I swear, if I'm not going to get a multi-ball... I like how you can actually really aim very well with the pedal now. Not no multi-balls. Come on, third try. Oh, there we go. There's a multi-ball. Okay. Yeah, that's good. That feels better now. And it's very distinct from the real game over. Cool. One more thing. I want to also do the explosions to do shaking. Okay, so where do things explode? Let me see. Prop, get, point, stack, release, stack, update ball, update game, update. I think this is further down. Hit brick. Okay, this is good. Spawn pill. Check explosions. Explode brick. That seems like what we want to do. We didn't put a sound effect when the bricks explode. We need to put some sound effects in here. But that's something that we're going to deal with, of course, now. Yeah, okay. So I'm thinking I'm just going to get the same amount of shake as if you lose a ball when a brick explodes, because I think usually there's also multiple bricks will explode. So we're probably going to get very violent explosions anyway. So let me put some exploding bricks actually in our game. What is the exploding brick? What was the name? I think it was Z. Was it Z? I think it was Z. Or was it? Let me see. Or maybe B? Not sure. It was S. Oh, we do have... Oh, there's some sound effect. I'm not sure if this is the right sound effect. Okay, so it's S. So I'm gonna do a new line. Maybe another new line, and it's gonna be S9S. So a lot of explosions. Oh, it's never going. It's still going. Oh my gosh. I don't know why this is happening, but it's amazing. Okay, so apparently something is not good. I think we might be triggering this function over and over again. So let me see. Yeah, might be actually always triggering this. Yeah, maybe this is the right one. So what I'm gonna do is maybe debug equals shake, just to make sure that we know what the current shake value is. I'm gonna put it in here. Of course, we cannot see the debug. Okay, let me see. Where are we drawing the debug? There we go. I'm gonna actually draw it on top of all things before the shaking begins. So it's the debug is immune to shaking. This didn't work. Not sure why. Oh, I guess, yeah, it's because I'm drawing the entire screen and the screen actually deletes the debug. Well, that won't work apparently. Okay, so let's bring the debug back where it was. I'm gonna assume that we're somehow overdoing the shake, that the shake is some ridiculous value, and we need to bring it back. So maybe what helps is something like this. Rint? What is rint? What rint? Print. I think the P is. There we go. I deleted the P. Okay. So that was some more the thing that we wanted actually to happen. But now, of course, I'm not sure if this is bad. Maybe let's bring it to this level. So of course this is like an entire row exploding, and I don't know how often we're gonna get those rows. So you know what? Let's do it like this. Let's make it. Let's add 4 to this, and if it's bigger than, yeah, let's cap it at like 1. If shake is greater than 1, and that's, you know, that's a serious shake, then and shake equals 1. Yeah, that seems the correct behavior. Okay, so what I want to do now is maybe add more explosions, so we kind of see a little bit more what happens when you hit individual exploding bricks, right? So so let me see if we can maybe make this somehow happen. S B S B B S B S B S B. Yeah, the explosion needs the explosion sound needs to be a lot more intense. Did it just hit the thing without exploding? Oh yeah, it hit the... I saw an... Oh yeah, interesting. So it hit... This is a bit of a problem. I saw I saw the orange brick hit and it didn't shake the screen. See, for example, here. This was good. And also didn't explode. Also, this also didn't explode. Yeah, no explosions here. And I wonder if this is because... I wonder if this is because of where we're triggering the explosions, or maybe something is actually not actually exploding. So let me see. Where is the shake? There. Because I think this is the moment where you chain things, right? This is the moment where you look if there is a chain reaction going on. But actually, what you want to do is you want to do this. Well, you want to keep this around. This is not wrong. And actually, this just hits the brick. It doesn't necessarily explode. You want this to happen when you explode the brick. Yeah, yeah, yeah. Yeah, that seems more like it. And then you turn it into ZZ. And if it's Z, it's gonna get into the Z. And then you explode, yeah. Yeah, this is the right one. Okay, so we moved it. Yeah, we moved it to a different variable. Let's see if this works. A different function, I mean. Yeah, so this is the problem now, because now it's kind of always, oh yeah. So I think the problem is that, oh yeah, we make them invisible, but they still continue exploding. I see. Okay, that's no problem. So, and bricks V. This should fix the problem. Let's try this. There's a problem here. I think this is because of what we use. Yeah, we're using the underscore I here. Yeah, we basically here we added here a check to those two if statements. We're not just checking if the brick is Z or ZZ. We're also checking if the brick is actually visible, because what was happening, a brick exploded. That was set to explode. It exploded. We made it invisible, but because we're not checking if things are visible or not, it kept exploding even though it was invisible. And that's why we got this infinite shaking. So this should fix our issue. I love it. What's the matter? What's the matter, guys? What's the matter? Okay, so it's just here. We're just using the wrong variable here. I like how we're always not hitting the. Yeah, this seems correct now. Yeah, this is the correct behavior. Oh, look at this! Oh. So good. Okay, this is good. This is good. This is working. One more thing I noticed: when the screen is shaking, it stays blue, like the entire thing stays blue. And this has to do with the way we're clearing the screen, I think. Let me see. See, we're using this CLS. Here, CLS. And I heard that it's actually, we shouldn't use CLS. Instead, what you could do is paint a huge rectangle. And I think we should paint the huge rectangle. I think this is better. I think like this and one. Because CLS, basically, it ignores the camera movements. So it just, whatever camera is, it just fills the screen with blue. And the rectangle actually uses certain coordinates, and those coordinates are moved by the camera. So this will result, you know, where the camera moves, you get like this black border that you want to go for. I'm actually going to go with CLS before we do this. So we're going to get this black border. Let's try this. Oops. Run. Not what I wanted. Why is this not working, Mr. Potter? Rect fill, of course. Let's see if the shake is better now. Yeah. You can see that there's a black border now. Yeah. I think it's 127. Yeah, it's better now. You can see that there's this black border appearing, and I wanted to have this effect. Okay. Easy peasy Febreze. So this is how Screenshake works. Very simple function. We may be using this later on in some other situations as well. But for now, I think exploding bricks and losing balls are like the most important ones. So Screenshake, donezies. Next time around, we're gonna have some text blinking. I mean, it's a simple juiciness thing, but it makes the texts that appear seem more alive. And I already can tell that we're gonna have here, that this is gonna be the new 9, this is gonna be 10, and this is gonna be the 11. I want to have some UI stuff. So UI. I want power up. Power up messages. And I want power up percentage bar. So I want basically the player to be informed that there's a power up going on, and that and which power up you picked up. One last thing, real quick, cleaning up after ourselves. We want, of course, now we no longer want to debug the screen shake, so we're just gonna do it. I'm getting a lot of messages from Skype. So let's try this. Yeah, everything's fine. Not sure where we're gonna put up the. This is so good. Yeah, explosions. Cool guys, don't look at explosions. Beam, beam. Okay. See you next time around, where we're gonna do some blinking text. It's gonna be amazing. Bye bye, guys.